Pence says he asked his personal lawyers to search his home last week after learning more documents were discovered at President Biden's Wilmington home.
Wow. As soon as you think you've got everything figured out when it comes to the classified documents that have been dropping left and right, Mike Pence comes out and drops a bomb on America. What the heck is going on? Let's go ahead and dissect this a little bit and get into it, okay? Let's do this. How is everybody doing today? My name is Ty with Right IQ. Thank you for joining me today. And before we get into this Mike Pence debacle, let me go ahead and remind you folks that if you are not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And like I had mentioned to you guys before, I don't know how long I'm going to be on YouTube. And I say that because just today I woke up and found that I had a warning on a video because I was speaking about the 2020 elections in the last video, talking about Ronna McDaniels. So I'm not going to talk about the 2020 elections in this video. What I'm going to talk about is Mike Pence. But at some point, if I do get removed from YouTube, you can find me over there at Rumble. And I'm going to be adding some special content over there that I cannot put here on YouTube. So if you don't want to miss that, go over to Rumble, type in Right IQ, RIGHT IQ, one word, and you will find me there so that you don't miss any of the upcoming events, and I can speak a little bit more freely over there. With that being said, let me go ahead and get into this. Mike Pence. Wow. Mike Pence. Turns out that he had classified documents over at his house too. For some reason, all of this stuff with Joe Biden has got him scared. And so when he saw what was going on with Joe Biden, he had his attorneys, for some reason, go over there to his house and go through all of his documents, boxes and boxes of them, and find out if there is classified documents there. But don't worry, he's innocent because he's cooperating, right? Let's hear what CNN has to say about this.
Out of an abundance of caution, we are told he had a lawyer go through his house and double check boxes. They found 4 boxes in his home in Indiana. They say they had been sealed since the time he left as vice president. They go through the boxes and they found roughly 12 documents that appear to have classified markings on them. They immediately called, this was last week, they immediately called the National Archives to hand them over. It's our understanding the archives, because of everything that's going on with Biden and Trump, alerted the Justice Department, and the night of January 19th, the FBI came to the Pence home in Indiana, and they handed over those 12 documents.
So I'm not really sure how to digest all this. This whole thing is just blowing my mind a little bit. Nothing really makes sense in this whole ordeal. Why is it that we are having politicians coming out like dominoes talking about how they have classified information? And they're trying to draw some weird correlation between Mike Pence and Joe Biden. Probably because Mike Pence was the vice president, and at the time when Joe Biden had taken all those classified documents, he was vice president too. So they're not spending a whole bunch of time trying to state whether Mike Pence should have had the documents or not. I think that we're all in agreement that they that they shouldn't have had those documents in the first place because they didn't have any ability to declassify those because they were not president, they were vice president. But what they're trying to do now is they're trying to draw some sort of weird line and say that, you know, maybe they're not classified, or maybe people are just classifying things too much up there in government. And, you know, let's hear what they have to say about it, and then I'll comment after that.
Way over classification in our system. The documents that were found at Vice President Pence's home at President Biden's home. Just because they're marked classified doesn't mean the information inside them is still classified.
Now, what I will agree with is I do believe that they overclassify these documents significantly. I think that things are being classified that have no business being classified. For whatever reason, we can debate that. But the fact of the matter is that they're classified and they have them. Okay, but they weren't giving Trump the same leniency. They weren't creating a path of innocence for Trump. They were going to bury him. They were talking about how he was going to sell our nuclear codes to Russia, and they were just going off the deep end. So why are they doing this with Joe Biden and with Mike Pence? It doesn't really make any sense to me. And Mike Pence did the same thing that Joe Biden did. He went on one of these late night news shows and talked about how, that it's never acceptable for anybody to have classified information outside a SCIF or secure environment. But yet they both do it. Take a listen to Mike Pence.
Did you take any classified documents with you from the White House?
I did not.
Do you see any reason for anyone to take classified documents with them leaving the White House?
Well, there'd be no reason to have classified documents, particularly if they were in an unprotected area.
You guys saw that interview with Mike Pence, right? I mean, look, for you parents out there, if you were to ask your children a question and they were to answer it like that, with deception, would you believe them? Would you buy it? Would you dig a little bit deeper? Because that answer right there that we got seemed like, okay, well, son, did you take a cookie out of the cookie jar? Well, no. Well, I know that I'm not supposed to do that. So I would never do that because I don't want to get in trouble. And you'd want to believe him, like I want to believe Mike Pence, but I just don't believe him. That didn't seem like a very good answer. It seemed like he kind of got a deer in the headlights kind of a look on him, like he wasn't expecting that question. And, I'm just not buying it. But the direction that the mainstream media is going with all of this now is they're trying to put intent into whether somebody is guilty or not. Kind of like what the FBI did with Hillary Clinton and James Comey. Well, intent is not an excuse. Intent is not an alibi. Intent doesn't keep you from getting in trouble. Listen to what they said over there on CNN about intent.
Really does turn on the intent behind it, the willfulness, all the various statutes that apply to actually prosecuting mishandling of classified information turn on some kind of intent, some kind of willful behavior on the part of it. And that, so far as we know, seems to be what distinguishes certainly this situation with former Vice President Pence. We're still learning more about President Biden's situation, but it sounds that way.
So I'm trying to figure out what intent has to do with anything. So you see, because if I go rob a bank and I leave that bank and I say that I needed that money because of, I don't know, I needed groceries, is that going to get me out of jail? No, probably not. Intent, I don't know what they're talking about. What does intent have to do with this? The fact of the matter is you have documents that don't belong to you, and whether you took them out on purpose or an accident, you have them. And what does this say about the security of all these classified documents? How is it possible for all of these people to end up with classified documents outside of a SCIF or a secured location? I'm hearing all these politicians saying, hey, look, when I have somebody bring in classified documents, they bring in this briefcase with it handcuffed to their wrist, and they bring it out and they show me this document, and when I'm done with it, they get the document back and they leave. And maybe it's because I'm not a politician and I'm not around classified documents, but that seems secure. But what these guys are talking about, how they just get willy-nilly added to a box and sent home when they leave the office, that doesn't make any sense to me, because why do they have them laying around in their offices to begin with if they're classified or top secret? You would think that if you have classified or top secret documents, you would keep them in a secure location, like a safe or a SCIF or something like that. They wouldn't be scattered around your office to where they could just be willy-nilly put into a box and drug over to your house. I'm not buying any of this. I'm not buying it from Mike Pence. I'm not buying it from Joe Biden. I'm not buying it. Now, notice I'm not using Donald Trump in this, because his situation is completely different. It cannot be compared to this situation. This is a situation where you have two vice presidents that took classified or top secret documents with them when they left. Donald Trump declassified his documents. And I'm not sure, are these documents that Donald Trump says he declassified, are they the documents that he had Kash Patel declassify? Or was it William Grinnell? I'm not exactly sure. But I know that they were working together, and I remember in 2016, no, it was 2019 maybe. In 2019, Donald Trump called for classified documents concerning Russiagate to be declassified. And so we don't even know if the documents that were in Mar-a-Lago were those documents or not. We're not exactly sure. Nobody knows anything, and maybe we probably shouldn't know if they are classified. Because from what I understand, as soon as Joe Biden got into office, Joe Biden tried to reclassify the Russiagate documents, right? Which I'm not really sure that's fair. I'm not sure that's something you can do. Once they've been declassified, they're declassified, right? Because at that point, you don't know who has them after they've been declassified. But Donald Trump had the right to declassify documents. Donald Trump or Mike Pence and Joe Biden did not have the law on their side when it came to taking documents home. Now, there's no argument about that. You cannot argue that one bit. Those are the facts. And it's even worse than that with Joe Biden. Joe Biden took documents out of a SCIF when he was a senator. They brought in securely documents into a SCIF, top secret or classified. And what did he do with them? Kind of just shoved them in his pocket and walked out. Pretty sure that's a felony. Maybe you could be looking at treason for that. It may depend on what that document was. I think we might find out exactly how deep this goes with Joe Biden. But there are some caveats here. When Joe Biden took his documents out of that secured SCIF when he was a senator, he had no business taking it out of there. He had no business at all. The moment that he walked out of there with that document, he committed a felony. Excuse me, I don't know what happened there. My brain just froze. It happens every once in a while when I get excited. So let's hear what they have to say about the classified document or documents that Joe Biden had taken out of the SCIF when he was a senator, not a vice president, not a president, when he was a senator. Let's listen to this.
But Martha, I want to separate one issue about president and vice president leaving office where taxpayers pay somebody to pack those boxes, and what Senator Joe Biden did, apparently taking a classified document with him from a SCIF. That had to be deliberate. If somebody else packs your box on your last day at the White House or the last day at the Naval Observatory and you have no idea, and it goes to Mar-a-Lago or it goes to Wilmington, it could be inadvertent. But how, as a senator, can you walk across the street from your office to the SCIF in the Capitol, get handed a document, put it in your pocket, and leave with it? That is deliberate, and that's a problem.
Yeah, he's 100% right. The moment that he took that document, folded it up and put it in his pocket, walked out of there, he was instantly a felon. And what he chose to do with that document after he left could make it treason. We don't know. I'm sure they're going to find out, but hopefully the right people get their hands on that document that can add some clarity to the situation. But it goes a little deeper than that, I believe. we're talking about these assistants for the vice president and the president and all this other stuff. Well, more specifically to the vice presidents. And they're talking about their assistants packing up their belongings and inadvertently putting them into, these boxes. Well, they do not have the clearance to be handling these documents. What are they doing handling these documents? They don't have the clearance. So why are they touching them in the first place? They should never even be able to put their fingers on these documents. So what does that say about the control that is going on with these documents? And let's go back to the skiff with Joe Biden. When he put that document in his pocket, was there not, like, I don't know, a Dewey Decimal System type of a system that would tell the person who brought those documents into Joe Biden when he was a senator? Was there not some sort of a process? Because they brought them into him. Did they not notice that there was documents missing? Did they not do a tabulation to find out to make sure that all the documents were there after Joe Biden left? How was it possible that he was able to get away with those documents? And he's not the first one that's done that. There's been other senators or politicians that have done the same thing. But my question is why are they not keeping track of these documents once they drop them off within these skiffs? How is it even possible that he's even able to take that document and put it in his pocket? That doesn't make any sense to me. But let's go ahead and find out a little bit more information about these assistants that are supposedly gathering these documents and mistakenly taking them over there to their residences.
This business about like the sloppy aide, this is the defense now. The sloppy aide packed the documents, and that's how they end up in a place. People should understand there are not people who don't have security clearances who are allowed to have documents for the purposes of packing bags. If you have classified documents, you're supposed to be a person who has a security clearance. So to the extent they're trying to lay this off on sloppy aides, they ought to tell us, which people who are working with them with security clearances are the ones who ended up causing these documents to be mishandled.
Yeah, I'm concerned. I'm very concerned. I'm concerned that so many people have access to these documents. We're hearing about attorneys, in the case of Mike Pence and Joe Biden, going over there collecting and looking for these documents. Look, they should have had nothing to do with these documents. They do not have the clearance to be touching these documents. What is going on around here where it's okay for people who don't have top secret clearance or classified clearance? What is going on with these attorneys that have the ability to go over there and put their fingerprints all over this stuff? Where was the FBI? The FBI should have been over there at Mike Pence's house. They should have been over there at Joe Biden's house. But then you hear about these, my assistants, they must have accidentally, put them in the box and sent them over to my house. How is that even possible? That makes no sense. And I'm pretty sure it's illegal. So is somebody going to go to jail for that? Are we going to see any of these attorneys, these high-priced attorneys, are they going to be going to jail? They should be, but I highly doubt it. But what's it going to take for these politicians to start taking classified documents seriously? People could get hurt. People could die. If these secrets get out, it could let our top secret documents get out to the wrong people. We could have World War III on our hands. What is going on with lackadaisical responses or the attention to the detail when it comes to these classified documents? And I hear the news, the mainstream media all the time. They're talking about how, what's good about the situation? The good news is that they're cooperating. What difference does that make whether they're cooperating? Let's listen to Radcliffe and hear what Radcliffe has to say about this.
Cooperation is not a defense in the law. Cooperation goes to the issue of leniency in the sentence that a defendant may get. Bank robbers who show up with the money back at the bank and cooperate still get charged. So cooperation has nothing to do with culpability or liability. It only has to do with a sentence that would be imposed.
Radcliffe is correct. What difference does it make if you're cooperating? What difference does that make? And as a matter of fact, Joe Biden didn't cooperate Because when he said, oh, nope, there's no more documents with just those few, and I don't know how they got there, guess what? They found more documents and more documents and more documents. So obviously he was deceptive in his answer. So is that cooperation? Is lying cooperation now? Are we changing the definition of lying and replacing that with cooperation? Very interesting. These Democrats, they like to play word games. Deception. That's what we're seeing here right now. And cooperation doesn't mean anything because Donald Trump was cooperating too. As a matter of fact, Donald Trump had FBI in and out of his place. They knew where to find him. They were in talks. They were communicating. They knew what was in that room. And Donald Trump said, hey, look, if you need anything, you let me know. You let me know. So what else do you want? If that's not cooperation, I don't know what is. But saying that, oh, that's it, that's all we have, and then finding out that there's a lot more than that, that's not cooperating, that's deception. That's the opposite of cooperating. But it doesn't matter if you cooperate or not. Mike Pence, it doesn't matter whether he's cooperating or not. He has them. Why does he have them? That's important because he should not have them. He said it himself. The vice president should not have them. He said Donald Trump should not have them. So if Donald Trump should not have them, then the vice president definitely should not have them. But Donald Trump came out and he put out a truth over there on True Social, and excuse me, and it seems very cryptic to me. And what it says is, it says Mike Pence is an innocent man. He never did anything knowingly dishonest in his life. Leave him alone. Now, man, that made my head explode because just when I thought I could wrap my head around what was going on, this comes out. As far as I know, they aren't BFFs anymore. So why is Trump coming out and defending him? It seems to me that the Democrats are in a little bit of a conundrum, you see, because they cannot punish Mike Pence unless they punish Joe Biden. So what are they going to do? And they can't punish Joe Biden and Pence if they let them go. If they let Mike Pence and if they let Mike Pence and Joe Biden go, then what is it that they're going to charge Trump with? What are they going to do? It seems to me that they are stuck between a shit sandwich. What are they going to do? They seem like they're blocked in. Very interesting, I think. But look, we're not at the end of this. I have a feeling that there's a lot more shoes that are getting ready to drop. This could get very, very interesting real quick because we're not talking about a personality contest anymore between Joe Biden and Donald Trump or the Democrat, leadership and Donald Trump. What we're talking about now is very sensitive information in the hands of people who have no business having it. We're not going to gloss over it. We're going to stay on this because this is important. I think that this very well could be the beginning of the exposure of the pay for play, not just with Joe Biden, throughout the entire political world. I think that this could bring down the deep state. It could bring down the corrupt Democrats and maybe even some corrupt Republicans too. I'm not biased here. If Pence broke the law, he needs to be punished accordingly. And if Joe Biden broke the law, he needs to be punished. There should be no favoritism in this at all, because we're not talking about a popularity contest like I mentioned. What we're talking about is top secret information, very sensitive information. So we're gonna stay on this until we get to the bottom of it. But I don't think we're done. We're done seeing there's more shoes that are going to be dropping. I'm sure of it. And I don't really know what to make of the Donald Trump truth, but with Donald Trump, you tend to not know what he's doing initially, But if you pay attention, you just sit back and wait, it all seems to clear up. And so I'm going to be paying attention to that too. It seems like there's something going on underneath the radar that you and I can't see. But there's definitely something going on. The tides are shifting. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. I'm not in the know. I'm digesting this just like you guys are. And so let's keep our eyes peeled and watch this situation, because this could get very, very, very interesting. Very interesting. And there's still some more things that are very questionable to me, like, you know, why are they trying to, is this a Trump working behind the scenes exposing Joe Biden? Or are the Democrats trying to, you know, get rid of Joe Biden for whatever reason? Eventually we're going to find out. It's going to become clearer to us, but we're just going to have to watch it and pay attention, and I'll keep you guys informed with what I find. But hey, look, if you guys like this video, don't forget to subscribe, because like I said, the things I want to talk about, I can't talk about here. But subscribe, because what I'm planning on doing is dropping a short video on YouTube letting you know that I have a video on Rumble that you might want to go look at. So don't forget to subscribe on YouTube until they kick me off. But go over there to Rumble also and subscribe over there. I could use some love over there. It's a little bit lonely over there. But in any case, if you like the video, like and subscribe. If you have a comment that you want to leave behind, I always read them. I don't always like the comments that I get sometimes. I'm speaking of, you know, the angry people from the left, but I always read them. So with that being said, thanks for watching today, and I hope to see you on the next video. Till then, peace. Bye-bye.